Welcome to Lesson 4. This is part 5 of 5 parts. Be sure you have completed all previous videos from this lesson before watching this one. In this segment, we're going to look at how we can exchange data between MS Project 2013 and other tools. We've already seen that some features, such as the timeline and reports, have features that allow us to copy and paste their contents to documents, PowerPoints, emails, and other tools. You can also select portions of tables and use copy-paste to transfer the information to other products that support tables, such as Excel and Word. To see this in action, start from a Gantt chart view and select the entire entry table. Click Copy in the Clipboard group of the Task tab. You can paste into a blank Excel worksheet. With just a little manipulation, we can get a readable sheet that preserved all the formatting of the original entry table, such as the highlighting of the milestone visible in the middle of the image. XML is a portable file format readable by many programs. One option we have in opening and saving files in MS Project is to use files with the .xml extension. For example, we can create a project plan in Smartsheet, another project scheduling tool. We can save the results in the XML format in a file with the .xml extension. When we use MS Project to open that XML file and view and edit the plan, we can use the Backstage view to create an XML file of our altered plan, which Smartsheet can read. Data exchange between scheduling programs is very easy when the XML format is supported. Copy-paste of data might work well for smaller projects. However, when there are volumes of data of various kinds, it isn't always easy. MS Project 2013 has a solution. Let's imagine we want to know the assignments, as we did with the report in the previous segment. One way to do this is through saving the relevant data with Excel. Go to the Backstage view and choose the Export function. Choose Save Project as a file and choose MS Excel Workbook, then click the Save As button. Accept the file name or type a new one and click Save. This will start the export wizard. Click Next to continue, then choose Selected Data and click Next. Select Use Existing Map and click Next. Here you will choose the Who Does What When map and click Finish. If you had clicked Next, you could alter the data selected. Clicking Finish generates the file and saves it. This is the Excel file obtained by following the steps, showing the resources and the assigned tasks. As a project manager, you may create a plan which you want to share with your project team, but it's not always affordable for every team member to have a copy of MS Project. The Housatonic products are recommended by Microsoft and are completely web-based. The add-in requires a free download from the MS Project store. All the products are fully functional and you can edit up to 2 megabyte files at no charge. For larger files, license fees will apply. However, many plans are less than 2 megabytes, and the fees are a small fraction of the cost of MS Project. In this navigation session, we're going to look at how to exchange some of the data of Microsoft Project with other tools. Let's start with the idea of copy and paste. Our timeline, for example, we already saw that if we come to the Format tab, there's a copy group with a copy timeline function that allows us to copy it for email, presentation, or full size. Coming to our Gantt chart, however, we've got a table. Now, any table, including the entry table, can be copied and pasted into any other Microsoft product that supports tables, which would include Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Let's copy the entry table. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the rows and columns that contain data. I'm going to come to the Task tab and click Copy in the Clipboard group. Now I can bring up my blank Excel spreadsheet that I've got waiting, and I can simply hit Control V for paste. Now, a lot of the text is crammed together. It's not necessarily well formatted, but I can fix this pretty easily. I can begin by stretching out the areas so that the content fits. On some of them I can double click and Excel will make them the right width. And once I get all of them vertically aligned, I can select the entire sheet, double click here, and you'll notice I've got something that looks very much like the entry table now, including the milestone, which had the formatting preserved, the background and the italicized text. So this is very useful because now I can take any data tables from MS Project and copy and paste them into other tools, which might be useful for creating reports, analyzing data, and so on. Let's go back to our project view. We'll clear out the selection. Now, one of the nice features of MS Project is that it reads XML format files and writes XML format files, and it does so quite directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Backstage view. I'm going to click Open. I'm going to look for a file on my computer, and I'm going to go to Documents, and right now for the file extensions it says .mpp. I'm going to look here and you'll notice that I have an XML file format, and I had some students do a project plan using a product called Smartsheet, and they were nice enough to save the file in an XML format that I could read with Microsoft Project. So I'm going to double click on that file, and you'll notice that an import wizard pops up, and I can either append this or merge it to an active project, or I can create a new project. Well, I'd like to create a new project, so we'll keep that selected, and I'll click Finish. And you can see that it's read in the file. Now, they didn't take care of over allocations, and the other potential issue is I don't know that Smartsheet supported the task modes, but the nice part is that I have a sheet that I can read directly into Project, and I could modify it, write it back out as an XML file, and then it could be read back into Smartsheet. So I'm going to close this project, go back to my original one again, And let's take a look at the idea of the Excel export now. Again, I'm going to come to my Backstage view. You'll notice I have an export function, and I can save project as a file, and I can click an Excel workbook. So I'll click Save As, and we'll just keep the default name. It's the name of my .mpp file with a .xlsx extension. I'll click Save, and now again the export wizard comes up, and it tells me I need to click Next to continue, so I will. And I want to format some selected data, not use a predefined template. And I'm going to use an existing map. And notice I have some pre-existing maps here. One of them is called the Who Does What report. So I'm going to keep that selected, and I'm going to click Finish. Now I should have a file available. So I'll come to my documents. You'll see I have a recent file right here. I'll open it up. And you can see I have resources and assignments. So I have June, who schedules the author interviews, Sheila for the launch kickoff meeting, Ray for design and order marketing material, and launch kickoff meeting, and so on. So I've got the data that I need to see who's doing what tasks and when. Let me close this. I'm not going to save the changes. And one more thing I'd like to look at is the viewer that we talked about in the slides. I happen to have it already available in my Chrome browser. You'll notice it looks very much like Project. I'm going to click on File. You'll see a very familiar user interface, Computer, and I'm going to go to Documents. I'm going to sort my documents by date modified, and here is my previous file. I'm not going to choose my current one. I'll look at an older one. And here you see I have an interface that looks very much like MS Project. I've got my entry table on the left. I've got my Gantt chart on the right. I've got the color formatting that I've done. I've got my milestone highlighting. And I've got some tabs that are very much like Microsoft Project's ribbon tabs. Now again, this is for viewing, so I can't edit, so I don't need the full ribbon. I just need enough things to be able to view. So with that, that ends our navigation session on exchanging data with other programs. Now it's time for you to practice. Try copy and paste from different tabular views to get comfortable with how this works. Try one or more Excel exports. When you are done, resave your file. Thank you for viewing the 5 Lesson 4 videos. When you have finished practicing with the user interface, be sure you take the quizzes and interact on the discussion board as required. Remember, you need to view all 3 lessons and complete the quizzes and discussion board assignments before the next class.